Alright, welcome back to Pokepedia entry number 13, Clefairy and Clefable. Remember to like if you like, and subscribe down below for more videos. Alright, so the schedule, as always, is look at the basics and stats for our two Pokemon of the day, battling and killing rules for both Pokemon, leveling our basic evolutionary Pokemon into our Stage 1 evolution, tips and tricks for both evolutions, and biome spawns for each evolution. It's a survival game for Pokemon. Let's get into it. So Clefairy is the basic evolution in Gen 1. Obviously, in later gens, it becomes the Stage 1, as there is another evolution of Clefairy that is put before a pre-evolution, making it a Stage 1, but we're only talking about Gen 1 for now, so Clefairy is the basic evolution. It's number 35 in the Pokédex, type is Fairy, phenotype is Fairy, height is 2 feet, and its weight is 16.5 pounds. Its role is consumer in the environmental food chain, and type is omnivore, as a Pokemon that can eat both meat and plants. Alright, so of course, the stat block of Clefairy in the Pokédex goes by scores, so we have its base stat block here as seen in the Pokédex with an HP score of 5, attack score of 3, defense score of 3, speed score of 3, and special attack and defense scores of 4 each. Now of course, if you're making a survival game, you can't just have a Pokemon have 5 health points. I mean, you can, but it would be very boring and very weird. You'd have to have like decimal numbers and stuff for attacks. We're not going to have that, so we're going to expand that stat block a little bit. Now, since Clefairy will eventually become a Stage 1 evolution, it does have more advanced stats, but that's only because it will eventually become a bigger and better evolution in the future. So its health points are 100, stamina points 300, food 300, its speed is 12 miles per hour, its basic attack is 15, its defense is 0 to 15%, its special attack is 40, and its special defense is 0 to 40%. So of course, the battling and killing rules for Clefairy follow omnivore. Since Clefairy and its evolution Clefable is an omnivore, this makes it an optional kill Pokemon, meaning you have two options when deploying this Pokemon. So since it technically does have meat on its diet, that does mean that it is an optional kill, because theoretically you would have to kill something in order to, consume its meat. So you have two options when deploying this Pokemon from its Pokeball. If you have its Pokeball, if you throw it with your right hand, then you will make it battle a Pokemon in the wild. So you throw it out to battle something in the wild. But if you throw it with your left hand, you'll be throwing it out and deploying it so that it'll target and kill the Pokemon. So right to battle, left hand to kill, and you'll get this option when throwing your Pokeball. Alright, so the killing process, if you kill a Clefairy and Clefable, obviously it's a survival game, so of course they'll drop loot once they're killed. If you kill a Clefairy, you'll have the following loot options of it dropping 1 to 2 reeds. Reeds are made for sugarcane and making paper, sugar, and a moonstone. If you kill a Clefable in the wild, of course, it will drop more, so 1 to 3 reeds, 1 to 2 sugar, and 1 moonstone. So not much difference between Clefairy and Clefable, but obviously it's maybe it will get balanced in the future. Right now it's just a baseline thing for right now. Alright, so leveling and evolving. So of course this is a survival game, so you do have levels. So your creature will, your Pokemon in this instance, will earn leveling XP points in order to level from one level to the next. So you earn XP points from 3 sources, earned from winning battles, healing a Pokemon with items, and mating and breeding your Pokemon. When a Pokemon levels up, its health, attack, stamina, and defense will upgrade, and its XP bar will increase by a percentage. Obviously, every 3 to 7 levels, a new move is able to be learned, as that is a base mechanic for any Pokemon game. And of course, there is max 4 moves, so if you do learn a new move, you will have to remove a move. And of course, every 5 levels, your special attack and defense upgrade. Alright, so of course, it is also a Pokemon game, so of course, evolution is also a game mechanic that has to be factored in. A level 50 to 75 Clefairy will evolve into a Clefable. When a Clefairy evolves, all of its stats, except for its speed, will increase by double. So double attack, double health, double speed, double defense. And a new move is guaranteed to be learned when it evolves. So over here it says every 3 to 7 levels, when a Pokemon evolves, it is always guaranteed to have a new move available to be learned. Alright, so of course let's look in tips and tricks for Clefairy and its evolution Clefable. In multi-battles, Friend Guard is a passive that Clefairy has, which lowers the amount of damage done to its allies by 25 to 40%. So let's say Clefairy is in a 2v2 with another Pokemon. Basically what this means is that this passive protects Clefairy's teammate, so that if there is an attack done to this ally of Clefairy, that the amount of damage is lowered by 25 to 40%. So really it's only going to do 60 to 75% of the actual damage of the max damage it would have done before Friend Guard was initiated. So basically it's a defensive passive done in only multi-battle situations. So of course, then we also have Magic Guard, which is an ability that both Clefairy and Clefable can use. Magic Guard prevents damage taken from indirect sources. This is basically battle stuff. Weather, so sandstorms and hail, does nothing. Status effects do nothing. Entry hazards like vines and thorns and stuff do nothing. Partially trapping moves, those are an edge case that's just covered by Magic Guard. Recoil damage, and life orbs. Life orbs cause recoil damage. They also do some other side effects. So any of these effects, as well as any other indirect sources added in the game in the future, Magic Guard can be an ability used to prevent this from happening. Now let's get into tricks. So of course there are some tricks to be used. Cute Charm is an ability that both Clefairy and Clefable possess. Using this ability will boost their contact moves that have a 30 to 50 chance of inflicting Infatuated, the In Love effect. Basically this means that anybody who's in the In Love effect basically does less damage and has a less likelihood to attack in the wild. So what this basically means is that a wild Pokemon will have a lower chance of using any damaging moves and will instead just do status moves instead. Now what this basically means is that both Clefairy and Clefable have this ability that will boost their contact moves. Contact moves are like punching, kicking, swiping, slash attacks, melee attacks, anything that isn't like magical or such. Just like, if you're making contact with your opponent, 30 to 50% chance of inflicting the Infatuated effect. And then, of course, the second trait is the secondary ability that is usable by both evolutions, so both Clefairy and Clefable can use this. This ability makes the opponent unable to see a stat change. So this has 3 different uses that you can use. It'll unable to know whether a defense is special or not, or unable to know whether an attack is special or not. So when you use an attack, your opponent will not know if it is special or not, which is key, because if they know that you use your special attack, they know that they have to be on the defensive and that it does not last for long. They will also won't know when your defense is special or not, so they won't know whether you're able to defend yourself that your defense is boosted or not. So they won't know whether they should just preserve their more powerful moves for later and just wait until your special defense is over, because both special and defense and attack are temporary things, temporary status changes. So of course your opponent would like to know when those are active or not. But of course, Unaware is an ability that you can use that will make it so your opponent doesn't know that. Your opponent will also not know if a effect is an effect. So how is this useful? Let's say you get paralyzed by your opponent. You use Unaware. So basically, your opponent has no idea when you become unparalyzed or not. You can eat a berry. Your opponent won't know this. You may just have the paralysis go away. Again, your opponent will not be able to see this. So basically, they have no idea whether you're still paralyzed or not. You'll still appear paralyzed, but maybe you're not anymore. And that's a very powerful effect, I mean, they may think you're paralyzed, but maybe you're not anymore. But they won't know. They also won't know if you're paralyzed in certain instances. Let's say a opponent does use a paralysis move. They don't know whether you're paralyzed. You may be able to see that you're paralyzed, and you may eat a berry because of that. But your opponent won't know because they won't see any stat change. So that's what Unaware does. It's a very powerful battle ability. Alright, and the final thing we'll look at is the Clefairy and Clefable biome spawns. Of course, remember, spawn rates are color-coded. Blue is guaranteed to spawn, green very likely to spawn, yellow likely to spawn, orange few will spawn, and red rare to spawn. So Clefairy is likely to spawn in the mountains and rare to find in underground chasms. So only likely and rare to see, so it is a kind of harder Pokemon to find in general. Same with Clefable, except this one is even more rare. It is only rare to find in mountains and rare to find in underground chasms. So not only is it Is it harder to find Clefable? It is rare to find Clefable anywhere that it even spawns. So you won't find it anywhere else, and even if you are in a biome that it spawns in, it's still rare to spawn. So do be careful about that. You may have to search a little bit more carefully to find Clefables. Alright, that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like if you like, dislike if you don't, subscribe if you like it, comment down below your thoughts. Everyone have a blessed day as always, and of course, as always, toodaloo!